Taurus, welcome to your June sidereal forecast. My name is Athen. Let's go ahead and look at your chart. So this month, right at the beginning on June 2nd, we've got a full moon in your 7th house. So this is a culmination point of relationships, of anything about one-on-one connections over the past 6 months. For those of you involved with anything in there that you can think of. Also, Saturn's been in there too. That's been there since the tail end of last year also, which has been about commitment and getting serious, getting more true in relationships. This is all relationships, not just romantic. So it's just, like honoring our word, taking relationships seriously, following through, things like that has all been the Saturn transit. Now, he's retrograde, so I think you're reflecting on that. But in either case, this is a culmination point of a lot of these relationship areas, right on the 2nd of June here. And also culmination point over the past 2 weeks when you guys had a new moon in that first house of yours, or close to that first house, which was all about you. And happy birthday to all of you Tauruses out there this month also. But since that time period, about 2 weeks ago, middle of May, towards the end of May, new goals, new ideas, new plans, new sense of self, new self-image, things like this have been presenting themselves. And so a culmination point for a lot of those things also. Very nice beginning to the month here in June. Now, around the 4th, we've got your ruler, Venus, shifting into your 3rd house. So this is definitely going to be a shift here, and this is going to be the energy for you pretty much the entire month with your ruler in the 3rd. All about the communications, learning, teaching, writing, sharing, wanting to communicate, wanting to have the lighter connections in the daily environment, because Venus rules both your 1st house, which is you. So I think naturally you will be more communicative, more cognitive, you'll say, practical even. But she also rules your 6th house, which is the daily environment. So taking care of the day-to-day stuff, I think you'll be thinking about that. I think that's going to be a highlight for you in terms of what you're communicating, what you're exchanging, because these are both very, very practical areas of the chart. So I think very busy. Could be even 2 this month for a lot of you. Just very busy with correspondence, a lot of things in the day-to-day environment that are, coming to and fro. Now, the key here is that Venus is going to be in an enemy sign. Not that that means anything bad. It's just that it takes a little bit more of a conscious effort for you to bring in, excuse me, these Cancerian energies, which are the emotional energies, into what you're involved with. So while you are perhaps taking care of the correspondence and the busyness of this month, be sure to remember that there's an emotional side of things. Connect to home, connect to family, connect to your roots, connect to your emotional body, and spend enough time nurturing yourself, nurturing your relationships, nurturing others, right? And that'll be the emphasis for you, and that'll be the best way to bring out this Cancerian energy into this 3rd house sphere of whatever it is you're involved with. So definitely a highlight there this month for you in that 3rd house. Now, around the 11th, we've got Mercury going station direct after a few weeks of its retrograde position in your 1st house. So I think a lot of you there's been so much emphasis on your 1st house. Now with Mercury, I think you guys have been learning a lot about perhaps how you present yourself, perhaps about your goals, your intentions, your assertiveness, your drive, your energy levels, how to manage energy, things like this. And so whatever that is, you guys have been learning about it. And so on the 11th onward, apply it. Put that, stuff you've learned into your life and apply it now with Mercury going direct from the 11th onward. Very nice there. And you guys are learning a lot about yourself this month. There's going to be a conjunction between the Sun and Mars from the 11th through the 18th. So this whole middle part of the month here, you guys will have this conjunction. And so this is all about you guys, first of all, with all this attention on self, you guys are seeing it, you're expressing yourself, with the moon there. And then with the conjunction up to Mars, which also rules your relationship sector as well, is going to be this conjunction here. So lots on relationships, lots on one-on-one connections. And I think from this 11th through the 18th middle part of the month here, take action, put in this energy. Express yourself in that assertive way, in the grounded way, but through relationships, in a spiritual way too, because Mars also rules your 12th house. So it's about, it's just this interesting balance between, because for you guys naturally assert yourself in a very calm fashion, and that's just the nature of your Taurus energy, Mars ruling your 12th house. So obviously in that calm fashion, but nonetheless, asserting yourself with relationships in particular. And then the Sun also rules your 4th house, so emotionally expressing yourself. That's going to be nice. And all that's going to open up, I think, a lot of energy for you to move towards, again, these goals, these drives, these ambitions, all this first house stuff that's activated for you, that you're learning about, that hopefully you're applying on that practical level. Mercury is also your second house and fifth house ruler, so there's a lot of this self-expression this month. I think you guys are definitely going to be expressing yourself. Definitely a good opportunity to have fun. You guys are learning more about how to have fun, things like that with Mercury as well. And yeah, so big highlight there in the first house. Oh, and your sun ruling your fourth. I think home and family, has been important also. I think your home and family is you're learning to assert yourself again. Be more active perhaps around the home. Mix things up in those regards also. So in either case, generally very active time for you. But I think specifically involving relationships, home and family, and their spiritual side of life and your self-expression. All of that in your first house. Very, very exciting. Now, on the 12th, we've got Neptune going station retrograde for the next 6 months. It's just natural, happens once a year. Followed by Chiron later on in the month. And so this is just, you may notice a shift here in the work and career sector where the retrograde is going to be happening. But I think you guys generally over the next 6 months from this sort of mid-month time period, you will be reflecting more on work and making sure that you have a spiritual, emotional connection to your work. That's what Neptune's been showing you, is how to go with the flow here, how to make sure you're getting enough rest and tranquility and connecting to God, Source, the universe through your work, and so you're going to be reflecting on these things for the next 6 months. So be sure to do that. It's a time where you want to redo these things, especially relating to the Neptunian side of matters. So yeah, that'll be a subtle shift, but you'll notice that about mid-month. Then on the 15th through the 18th, so the second half of the month, we've got this final aspect between Jupiter and Uranus. So these two planets have been in their trine position since about September of last year, and then they aspected each other again in March. So there's this energy, which is exciting energy. Uranus and Jupiter has been about new opportunities, sudden opportunities, and for you in particular, it's been opportunities for you to communicate, to write, to teach, to share since about September of last year. So this is the final aspect of that. And it's coming in through, like this group sector. So there's sudden changes, there's things changing, there's things, coming and going with your networks, with the group side of things, with your friends, and all of that is supporting you. Whatever this community-related stuff is supporting you in this, whatever you're sharing, communication or learning or teaching or writing. Just certainly an emphasis for you this month. There's no doubt about that, especially with your ruler there in the third also. So very nice there. Look for those opportunities. It can mean sudden opportunities. Jupiter's also the ruler of your 8th and your 11th house. Already naturally rules your 11th. So I think you guys are seeing the opportunities to share and write to a community of some kind, or with your groups again and friends and things of this nature, especially relating to ideals. And with 8th house, it's transforming. You guys are transforming the way that you communicate, and teach and share and all of this. So a new exciting time for you in regards to those matters. And I would really, from the second half of the month, I would really get involved with those third house matters and the 11th house matters, groups and the communication and writing and all of that stuff, because that's where the opportunities are going to be coming in for you. And it's very expansive. And then at the very end of the month, we are going to have a conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in that third house, furthering things even more. So very nice there. Very, very nice. It's a final aspect too. So if you want to kind of get an idea of what this is for you personally, think back to September. What new opportunities came in through these areas? And then again in March. And then this will be the final one here. All right, so on the 16th, we've got the new moon in, let me back up here, in your sign again, in your first house. So this last new moon, this whole last cycle was right on the cusp between your 12th and your 1st. But now things are definitely at the end, middle part of this month around the 16th, definitely new beginnings around self. I think you're reflecting on, you've learned a lot about yourself this month and last month. I think you're very motivated to, move forward with your intentions and your goals, and through that you're learning. And that's helping you express yourself as well. Lots of that stuff. And then so now this new moon is going to create some new beginnings. And these new beginnings are subtle, but there is a conjunction up to Mars. So it's motivating. It's a motivating new moon. And so normally during a new moon, I would advise, watch, don't take any action, or any major action But I mean, with Mars, it's just going to happen. I just think it's just going to be energetic time, energetic new moon. So my advice with that is take action, but do it in the new moon fashion, which is be malleable, be willing to change, be willing to rework some things. Not that there's necessarily going to be things to be reworked, but you want to be, you want to be malleable, because there are going to be changes still, because that's the nature of the new moon. So for the next few days, especially after this, so this middle part of the month here, let's say the 16th to the 20th, just take action, but be willing to change, be malleable there, and then in that way you'll be learning so much in the process, and you'll be gaining momentum, which may not be directly related to the new beginnings necessarily, but your energy momentum will be there. And then later on, from the 20th onward, once the lunar cycle fills up, then that'll become, your energy level will just be even higher, and it'll be like getting the ball moving, getting started there. Then on the 20th, the sun is going to go into your second house, and followed by Mars on the 23rd. So the second house is definitely a shift here, and this is where the arena is going to be for you next month, which is about the material side of life, the resources, the finances, things of that nature. So I think naturally, towards the end of this month, you're going to be very motivated by it, very energized by it. So put energy into that part of your life. And again, with all of this sun energy, I think you can enjoy it very much. In terms of the home and family sector with the sun, I think things will be very grounded. Maybe doing some gardening at home, things like that should be going quite well in terms of abundance and the simple pleasures around the home sector. You see, and then relationships should be very grounded as well. Maybe doing some things in the enjoyment side of things. The good meal, relaxation with your relationships. I think you'll find that very spiritual, very calming as well. So that's going to be the shift there at the end of the month. And if you notice too, at the end of the month, that Venus and Jupiter is going to have their conjunction. So there's a lot of this emphasis all month with your third house, but both the second and the third here by the end of the month for sure. Still very much relating to your goals though, and just new sense of self that's developing, self-image. But motivated by the material side of life, and then also I think in just enjoying the communicative learning, teaching side of life as well. So Taurus, I hope you guys have a beautiful June. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you'd like a personal reading, please get in touch. You can check out masteringthezodiac.com for that. Or if you're new to Sidereal Astrology, do check out the website also. And I will see you all next time. Have a good month. Take care.